Good afternoon. I'm here to lecture on social media, brand management, and Hootsuite One. So in this lecture, we're going to be talking about social media, brand management, thinking about brand loyalty, thinking about brand equity, thinking about different ways in which we can decompartmentalize a brand and really understand its roots and really understand how a product really informs the manner in which consumers understand brands. So brands come with narratives. We know with Starbucks, it is a progressive, sophisticated, complex brand that has prided itself in selling books, audio, and other accoutrements for the coffee shop experience. It has enshrined itself within the American psyche as a cultural coffee shop. And so a lot has been and continues to be communicated by Starbucks, but it's narrowed its story so that everybody who's drank a cup of coffee there, or everybody who's familiar with the brand, recognizes what it is. McDonald's has done something similar. McDonald's has offered many different kinds of foods and shakes and smoothies and things like that, and it is quick and efficient and increasingly more and more nutritious as it changes its menu over to appease current macro trends in the United States surrounding better nutrition, better diet, going vegan, going vegetarian. But McDonald's has also tiered its stores so that there are upscale stores and lower tiered stores. Walt Disney World's is the happiest place on earth. That's what it's been known to be. And Disney has provided just that, and it has been just that for millions of people. I like all three of these brands because they really don't deviate from the story that they're trying to tell. And they're very circumspect with the manner in which they manage their own brands. Brands telling stories. So brands do tell stories, and brands tell stories in a whole host of ways. Social media allows us to tell different stories to select segments of people. And so we can see here, for instance, you can see a video with Kevin Hart and Dave Franco in which Madden rejoices about a season, that it is, in fact, a religious coming, if you will. And so I implore all of you to look up the video itself. It's Madden 2015, Kevin Hart and Dave Franco. But we see brands telling stories all the time here. So brands and brand management, we know that a brand itself is some sort of logo, insignia, some sort of telltale that this is a branded product, that this product comes from a particular company. So we know that brands are a logo, some sort of symbol, and we know that brand elements may include packaging and color and font design. And we also know the product itself is the only thing that is really tangible, that is something the consumer can touch to get a better sense of what that brand means, how that brand might resonate with other people. Let's be friends. And so if we're thinking about why people friend brands on social media, mostly it's because they're interested in their product and service, interested in promotions. They might be entertaining. There might be some sort of incentive. There might be interest in the industry to communicate with the brand, and the friends liked and followed their content. But what we can see here clearly is that interest in the product and service and promotions are two big key drivers here when we're really thinking about why people friend brands on social media. So if this is the case, then if people are interested in promotions, it follows suit that a lot of coupons and a lot of other offers have now been offered on social media. Why people might unfriend brands, it could be very well once the reason why people like the brand could be the same reason why people don't like the brand. Too many promotional messages. So we can see here that interest in promotions comes to a limit. It's limited here. Information may not be relevant. The brand may tweet too much. So again, too much, and too quiet. So you can't really, as a brand, put out too much information. You also really can't have anything that's going on. You also want to be true to your voice as well here. And so if we're going to be thinking about points of differences among brands, this is an important place to start if we're thinking about things that we can say to these brands, or from these brands for that matter, to our audiences. So points of difference. Points of difference include relevance. So we may be thinking to ourselves, well, what's relevant about this particular brand? And what's relevant about the difference between this brand and another brand? We may also think about distinctiveness. How distinctive are these differences between my brand and my competitors? We might also look at believability. Is it believable that there's this difference between me and other brands? What about feasibility? Is it feasible that I can have this particular difference and sustain it? Can I communicate it? Is it communicable? Or is there a kind of communicability to my audience that, hey, I'm different than this brand? And again, sustainability. Can I sustain this difference over the long course or road? Or will my competitors catch up to me? Establishing points of parity and points of differences. If we're thinking about what makes our brand similar to others as well as different to others, we might work to separate the attributes out, leverage equity of another entity. So we might leverage a different company, we might leverage different knowledge, we might leverage a third independent party to evaluate our brand against other brands to illustrate that we're superior, and also work to redefine the relationship as well. So this gets us right into digital marketing, content, influencers, strategies, and best practices here. And so what we can see here is what content marketing is. So we're shifting away from brand management momentarily, but to also understand what content marketing is and what influencer marketing is. If we're managing our brands, we need to know that we're online and that we're going to be interfacing with a lot of people. And so the creation of valuable content, free videos, infographics, blogs, and other information to attract people to become consumers is really the hallmark of content marketing. You're giving content out to people. It's not an advertisement. And we're going to see an example of that momentarily. Opinion leaders who have who have influence over potential consumers through previously acquired trust and may be leveraged in selling products and services. So influencer marketing comes in as a way in which that we can leverage the expertise, the celebrity of someone to push a brand forward and to really create a unique conversation. So if you're still wondering what content marketing is, I can give you a sense of it through this. So if we come here, and there is one particular article that I want to show you. Yes. Yes? Should be it. Yes. So this is an example of content marketing in which we have Netflix, Orange is the New Black. It does say paid post, which is what it should be. And as you can see here, this content was paid for by Netflix and created by New York Times Brand Studio, brand marketing arm of the New York Times. So we can see as we scroll down, and it's great that this infographic kind of moves because you kind of feel as though you're moving along with the women, right? You're just kind of another number. It's a great way to convey that. Over the past 3 decades, the number of women serving in American prisons has increased more than 8-fold. As we scroll down, we have videos, we have statistics. As we scroll, we're leaving people as they're leaving people as well. And you can see here that this infographic is really, really useful in just kind of guiding people on the journey of these particular female inmates. We scroll down, we have an infographic here as well. Another video. And again, this is not necessarily an advertisement, although season 2 now streaming, Orange is the New Black. This is a really, really great article and a great example of content marketing because students are being taught now that advertising really takes a lot of different turns and twists right now in the marketplace. We can see here that this is a nice way to leverage information. It illustrates that the producers of Orange is the New Black are familiar with the prison system, and that it probably is depicting the prison system in an accurate light, right? If the producers, the creators, the people behind Orange is the New Black are going to take the time to educate the public about what's going on in the female prison system, then they probably know what they're doing. So if they probably know what they're doing, that means if I go ahead and watch Orange is the New Black, it's probably well researched, it's probably accurate, it's probably going to give me a window into what these women face, and against all of the information that you've given me, I can probably appreciate the show even more and maybe even have more brand loyalty because now not only am I educated on what's going on in the female prison system, but now there's a show that is giving me gripping drama soaked in the reality that actual female prisoners face. That's pretty powerful. And so this is an excellent article. I really encourage you to check it out on your own time. It's a great job by the New York Times. But this is, again, an instance of current state of content marketing. And so right now we have a few things that are going on in tech and social media. There is the Internet of Things. Siri and Alexa are connecting consumers to more and more things every day. And we know that we have this issue with native advertisements to ensure benefits to consumers. And so people have to report if a particular piece of content marketing is paid for, as we saw earlier. We've also seen content marketing being embraced by virtual and augmented reality. So we know that IKEA has an augmented reality, IKEA Place. You can download an app, I believe it's called IKEA App, and you're able to, through your cell phone, look at how a piece of furniture will fit into your living room. Is it a direct advertisement for IKEA? Well, sort of, maybe. But it's meant to, once again, be useful, to give somebody something for free. And this is increasingly becoming a very popular way in which that we can advertise to consumers. And so here, we can see content marketing and Starbucks. And forgive me for all the Starbucks chatter. It's a brand that not only do I love to drink, but it's also a brand that just does it right. That really is an excellent example of solid brand management, solid social media use as well. And so we have articles, graphics, and flyers. Starbucks has done that here. And we also have content marketing in 2018, a few statistics. 86% of business-to-consumer companies are using content marketing. 71% use social media posts. 45% use videos. 29% use illustrations and photography. And so here with Starbucks, the 1912 Pike campaign, again, this is nothing to do with Starbucks directly. Of course, now with COVID-19, it's dealing with that whole situation that's currently going on here. But we can see here as we go down, we can see latest stories and news, and we can see different things that are going on here. And so we can see different campaigns and such that are being pushed along despite what's going on with COVID-19. So again, Starbucks is partnering to give free coffee to frontline responders. That was a recent news article that kind of came out not too long ago. So these are just nice things to see, right? These are nice things about Starbucks that remind us that when we purchase products from this company, we're supporting them in these endeavors, which is really attractive to audiences. We also have, The Onion posts this. This is a joke article, but nevertheless, it was bought by Starbucks or supported by Starbucks. Scientists posit theoretical productive weekend if we drink Starbucks coffee. Really funny stuff. So if we look further on, we can see other co-branding opportunities. Burberry had sending Burberry Kisses via online. This was a nice way to tell a story about the fashion brand Burberry here. Brand engagement. So as we can see with some of these social media campaign examples, whether you're giving people kisses or whether you're just reaching out to the community, you know, brand engagement is really important. It's the way in which that we engage people, we get people excited, get people interested in a particular brand. So there is this portion of emotional engagement that's here. The object is meaningful in the emotional life of the fan. There's also self-identification. The fan personally and publicly identifies with like-minded fans. Pardon me. Cultural competence. The fan has a critical understanding of the object, its history, and its meaning beyond its basic functionality. So again, it depends what kind of engagement we want our fans, our consumers to be a part of. Auxiliary consumption. The fan collects and consumes related items and experiences beyond the basic object. Production, the fan becomes involved in the production of content related to the object. So production could be user-generated content, right? People creating their own Starbucks stores and posting them online. Auxiliary consumption is when you go to Starbucks and you buy those mugs that are branded with like Seattle, Dallas, Chicago, Boston, Sarasota, Florida, whatever it might be. And so there are different ways in which that we can engage consumers and get consumers eager and interested in supporting said brand. Do brands talk? Yes, and this is another avenue about social media that's really, really exciting. Brands can be anthropomorphized. Brands are able to act and respond back to consumers like people. And so we can see here, Old Spice can say, tell me you love me, which is hysterical here. And we can see also down here with Taco Bell and Old Spice, Taco Bell saying to Old Spice, is your deodorant made with really old spices? And Old Spice replies to Taco Bell, depends. Do you consider volcanoes, tanks, and freedom to be spices? This is a way in which to really humanize how people perceive these particular kinds of brands and the ways in which these brands can talk to other people. And so, it's really, really funny to see what goes on. And these brands are really able to become persons and people of interest. And they're able to become humanized, and we're able to have relationships. I know that when I feel bad or sad or angry or whatever, I know who to call. I know who to talk to. These brands, through brand anthropomorphization, are really trying to instill themselves within our own daily lives to really become a reflexive component that is dealt with every day, much like we deal with our friends. We follow our friends. Well, we can also follow these brands now, can't we? These brands talk to us. They communicate with us. They give us ideas. They make us feel certain things. Anthropomorphism in storytelling. So we anthropomorphize everything. If you don't believe me, watch a Disney cartoon or any children's cartoon. Animals talk all the time. Objects talk all the time. This is something that we're used to, but until recently had not been introduced with a lot of brands. That's why mascots had been used for quite some time. Our minds are built to perceive other minds. So we're built to look out for minds. We're built to look out for other intelligent beings. We cast our own perceptions onto things as well. Usually the object or animal has a face, we want to be connected to it, or we need to rationalize its inexplicable behavior. And we have a tendency to search for faces as humans as well. We find faces everywhere. So this is, of course, Wilson from Castaway. But there have been a few studies that have illustrated that we look for faces, and we look for faces, be it on a social media campaign or in a traditional commercial. So in one study at the University of Newcastle, a poster with eyes overlooking a dining area versus with flowers was twice as impactful in getting people to clean up. We respond to faces. Again, when professors were asked to pay for tea and coffee by placing money in an honesty box, they paid 3 times as much when there was yes on the box. We love to anthropomorphize things, faces and words and things that trigger us. We are more responsive toward. Consumers and brands expression. One study found that consumers who are lonely tend to gravitate toward brands with faces. Consumers tend to express themselves through the brands that they use. And altruistic consumers enjoy Rachel Ray as well. Where do we use anthropomorphism today? So we use it in a whole host of areas. Advertisements on billboards, movies, and in television shows as well. Brand anthropomorphism. So again, this refers to endowing brands with human traits, motivations, and characteristics and intentions. We know that brand personality traits are also something that are measured here. Is your brand sexy? Is it sophisticated? Is it liberal? Is it conservative? Is it young? Is it old? And consumers, therefore, will formulate brand relationships as a result of repeated brand engagement. As such, it is important to consider the type of relationship you wish to have with your customers. Are they married to you? Are they dating you? Are they friendly with you? These are interesting questions. Do you like Game of Thrones or do you love it? When we start thinking about different dimensions consumers may employ regarding certain brands, we get a sense of the consumer profile, and we get a sense of who these consumers are and how they might use particular brands. Return on emotion, not return on investment. When brands interact with consumers, such as on social media, there must be a consideration for return on emotion. This assesses the extent to which a brand has delivered a value in exchange for the emotional attachment fans have awarded it. Brands should socialize with fans and participate in conversations using a credible and authentic brand voice here. Taco Bell is particularly good at this. At Men's Humor, this morning I gave birth to a food baby, and I think Taco Bell is the father. And Taco Bell responds, I want a DNA test. Again, funny, charming, and witty. And it's great to see these brands talk to each other because they feel closer to us. User-generated content. This is very, very popular. User-generated content allows us to personalize our own experiences with these brands. We get to create things, we get to share things, we get to share particular messages, we get to create particular artwork as well. Now, Coca-Cola produced the personalized Coke bottles in the spirit of sharing a Coke. This was a campaign not too long ago. Customers were persuaded by Coke to take a photo and publicize the brand while drinking a Coke on social media. Users were transformed into advertisers, really at a bargain price, right? I can use said name and talk about, how Alex or Roberta or Kara used or drank Coca-Cola and had a Coke moment, if you will. And so this particular campaign was wildly successful because, again, it personalized these experiences for consumers. User-generated content was also executed well by Burberry. There was a movement to get fans to post wearing the clothes, which began about a decade ago, and this word of mouth has really continued on. Loyal patrons of Burberry have been asked to take photos of themselves in Burberry, and the best photos made it onto Facebook and other Burberry websites. So, in particular, when we're thinking about different kinds of consumers, 90% of millennials believe that authenticity is important when deciding which brands to support, and 70% of the time consumers can differentiate between a photo produced by a brand versus a photo produced by a consumer. All of this is to say, engage your consumers, but be mindful of what they're looking for. In particular with millennials, in particular with Generation Z, who are currently about to enter college, it's important to understand how honesty, transparency, and authenticity really should be reflected in the product itself. Hootsuite Analytics. So in this particular portion, I'm just going to go through briefly what Hootsuite looks like. I'm then going to show you in another lecture what my own Hootsuite page looks like, and so you'll be asked to do a few things to set up your own Hootsuite, as it were, for the class activity. So introduction to Hootsuite Analytics. It allows you to look at multiple social media accounts at once. So if you have an Instagram, a Facebook, a Twitter, a LinkedIn, you're able to look at these feeds simultaneously to get a better sense of how a campaign might be doing. So again, you can see here, and I'm going to go through the menu a little bit more clearly in an actual video, but this is part of what the menu looks like, and you're able to see your performance. So these are different campaigns here for Athene Suites, which I believe is a hotel here. And so we can see here a post, and we can see the clicks, the comments, the reach, etc. here. Additionally, we can also use the calendar feature. The calendar feature allows us to actually time postings so that we don't need to be around when these postings occur. We can also generate new reports here from Hootsuite Analytics, and so you're able to see here Facebook overviews and Twitter overviews and Instagram overviews as well. And you can also see different kinds of custom reports, first response time, mixed overview, audience discovery, brand watch. There's a lot that goes in here in looking at how consumers are responding to particular brands. So the mixed overview, you get to see how you're doing across all different kinds of social media platforms, especially if you're looking at fans and followers and what the kind of activity has been on your particular social media platforms. Instagram engagement as well, as I mentioned, and we can see here as well that you can also create custom reports. And so the team metrics also enable admins to track team member productivity as well. And so we're able to see here different kinds of team metrics. So when I refer to team metrics, I'm talking about different kinds of metrics you can use to measure people on your team who are also plugged into the Hootsuite platform. You can use different kinds of metrics as well here across different kinds of hotels. As stated earlier, we were looking at Athene Suites, templates and custom reports, more instances of custom reports here as well, and we also have audience metrics. And again, it's cut up by languages, it's cut up by fans, new fans. These metrics should be familiar to you, and I know I'm going quickly, it's just kind of a brief overview. I will be giving you a live demonstration. These are very similar to what we saw with Google Analytics. Report logo, we can customize company report as well, as stated. Mixed overviews are useful for producing executive level summaries, so we can pull those pretty quickly. And so that's really it when it comes down to Hootsuite. It's just kind of a basic overview I wanted to give you, ladies and gentlemen. There will be more that comes out in the next video when I kind of walk you through the first class activity and we're uploading our own social media platforms.